All right, welcome. Today, we're going to talk about a huge shift for any leader who's feeling a bit chaotic. We're going from a business built on constant interruptions to one that runs with a calm, predictable rhythm. We're going to build a system to give you back your single most valuable asset, your time.
So let's just start with a really tough question. I mean, you're producing at an incredibly high level, right? But does it feel like you've actually built yourself a golden cage? A business that's so dependent on you that you've become the single point of failure for every tiny little operational issue?
And this right here gets to the absolute heart of the problem. You can have the best strategy in the world, this brilliant vision for the future, but if it doesn't live on your team's calendar as a non-negotiable part of your week, your month, it's just a wish. It has no teeth. It's just an idea.
And that leads us right into what we call the trap of chaos. This is that reactive, unstructured state where so many high-performing teams find themselves completely stuck.
So think about it this way. You've really got two ways to operate. On the left, you've got drive-by management. You know what this feels like, right? The world of shoulder taps, the, hey, got a quick question on Slack, just constant interruptions. And then on the right, that's our goal, systemic execution, where there's order, direction, and a predictable sense of peace.
And here's the direct consequence of living in that drive-by world. Your team becomes paralyzed. They literally can't move forward because they are always waiting for your manual approval, your answer, your input on routine stuff. And that kills their autonomy and absolutely tanks your productivity.
Now, this chaos, it's not just frustrating. It comes with a very real, hidden economic cost. We call it the fragility tax.
So what is the fragility tax? Well, it's the price you pay for being the bottleneck. It is a measurable drain on your business that just eats away at your platform's value. And it pretty much guarantees you'll never get the full return on your talented people because they simply can't operate at their full potential.
And here are the specific consequences laid bare. 1. You're the single point of failure. 2. Your staff is paralyzed. But look at the financial impact. This is critical. Your ultimate cap rate, which is basically the rate of return a potential buyer would get on your business, it's degraded. The value of your entire firm is diminished because its success is tied to you, not to a scalable system.
Okay, so how do we fix this? We have to install the solution, a structured, mandatory cadence that we call the rhythm of the firm. This is the fundamental shift you have to make. You've got to move from what we call leader manual labor, being the chief firefighter and the professional question answerer, to installing the rhythm of the firm. This is where your business stops running on your personal vibe and starts executing on a professional, institutional schedule. And I love this because this is the real emotional payoff. This isn't just about being more efficient. It's about creating predictable peace for you and for your entire team. Because when everyone knows exactly when an issue will be discussed, they stop interrupting you in between. It's that simple.
So what does this system's backbone actually look like? It's not complicated, I promise. It's really just 3 core meetings. You've got a quarterly sprint for your big picture strategic planning, then a monthly review to audit your financials and scorecards, and finally a weekly L10 meeting. That's a tight 60-minute session to track progress on your key goals. This simple structure is the machine that drives execution.
Okay, so let's make this real. Enough theory. We're moving from the what to the how. Your very first action is to initiate a 90-day sprint. It all starts right here with 3 simple steps. First, clear the calendar. Seriously, just create the space. Pick a day, like next Tuesday, and block it out. Second, schedule that first 90-day sprint planning session. Get it on the books. And third, during that meeting, you align everyone around the top 3 big rocks, those crucial priorities that will actually move the business forward.
Now, once you've kicked off that first sprint, the next crucial step is to make this new rhythm permanent. You have to lock it in.
So here are the exact instructions. Using a simple rhythm map or planning template, you schedule the weekly, monthly, and quarterly meetings as recurring blocks in your calendar. And this is so important. You assign a clear owner and a standard agenda to every single meeting. Then you lock it in. You send recurring calendar invites for the next 90 days. This makes the rhythm real and absolutely non-negotiable.
And that simple action, locking the calendar, it directly solves our initial problem. It starves all those drive-by interruptions of oxygen and forces all communication into the proper, structured channels where it belongs. All right, let's finish up with the challenge. Now that you've got the framework, it's time for a moment of truth. It is time for the captain's test. Just let that sink in for a second. An advisory platform is a valuable, scalable asset. A chaotic group text is just noise. That's the standard we're aiming for here. We are building a platform, not a group text. First question for you, the absence test. If you were completely unreachable for 2 weeks, no email, no phone, would your team still hold their meetings and execute the strategy? Or would everything grind to a halt, completely paralyzed without you?
Second, the autonomy check. And be honest with yourself on this one. Are you truly enforcing this new meeting cadence, pushing your team to solve problems on their own? Or are you secretly still validating their excuses to interrupt you, because maybe it makes you feel needed? And finally, the asset validation. Is your firm an actual, documented, predictable asset that a potential buyer would see as valuable? Or is all the magic still trapped in your head, completely dependent on your physical presence in the office? Ultimately, it really just comes down to this. The path out of that golden cage is crystal clear. It's about moving from being the hero to being the architect. You have to be the one to set the rhythm, to protect your time like it's the most valuable asset you have, and to demand execution from the system. That is how you build a platform that can truly scale beyond you.